So this time last week, I was recharging my batteries, and I suddenly burst of bed after spending the previous 3 days at Primavera Sound 2019. I was there with my girlfriend Mary, with a Transistor Cast crew, and a bunch of other friends. It was a great wee time, and when I was reflecting on it, I was thinking to myself, I could easily just do a review, like going day by day, what was great about it, and then I kind of thought to myself, Primavera Sound was doing stuff that I just wish every festival was doing. And I kind of thought if I put it in this sort of feature where I'm kind of saying what I want more festivals to do, what I want them to do less of, it could prove to be a bit more kind of like timeless in that sense. And it's also a lot more fun. So this video is just basically going to be just that. What festivals should do more of, what they should do less of. This isn't going to be like a pointless like spilling the tea thing. I've like look at this, like I've already done enough of that anyway. But there's going to be certain festival sites that are going to be kind of like put the sniper's fucking thing reticle is going to be right on. I couldn't find the name of that there. Because they do deserve to be called out so that they can be criticised and so that they can improve, because that's what we want. I'm going to break this down to 3 different acts. And the first act is going to be the most obvious one. For your festival to be good and for me to even consider it, it has to have a good lineup, which is something that some festivals just seem to forget about. They seem to think we'll just go for popular male artist A, popular male artist B, maybe they'll think of popular female artist A as well. With Primavera Sound, they were one of the first festival sites, in terms of like really big ones anyway, to go for a 50-50 split. And I'm not actually, I think it might be even more than just a 50-50 split, but we're just going to go with that anyway. And while you didn't like notice it right away, you like once you were reflecting on it, you were like, oh my god, like, and it isn't just like kind of like a everyone who saw more female acts and male acts, pat yourself in the back, you got some feminist woke points. Not that at all. It just, I think for a lot of people, once you reflect on it, you realise that you kind of were seeing just so many different variants of different genres. Like in terms of pop, I saw Carly Jepsen, but I also saw Janelle Monáe, and I also saw Miley Cyrus, who, like, these are just the acts I saw, by the way. They're all doing different styles of pop music, but there was also Charlie XCX and Sophie. I guess I did see Lizzo as well, who I wouldn't really call pop music because she does so much more stuff than that. But when you look on it like that, you're kind of like, why aren't, like, sites are just obviously kind of going, when it comes to female acts, like, unless they're super popular, then we're not going to go for them, and even then, they sometimes don't do that. When I was looking on it though, I was just thinking to myself, like, I think there seems to be this argument that like you should go for acts based on their quality and not their gender, and I'm always just thinking to myself, like, the way you word that, and this isn't just me being a straw man, it's just like an argument that does get brought up a fair amount, is that they're not mutually exclusive. A lot of these acts are both female and really good, and I think another big plus to this, in terms of just like the 50-50 gender split, that's apparently a hot topic. I think more of it, please, because if it had the impact that it did, this positive impact, then it should be just kind of like, it should be the new normal, which is what the tagline for this festival was. But not only that, there was such a genre diversity. I think pretty much any genre on the planet, really, bar that weird Japanese noise one I can't remember the name of, but like most genres were like represented in some way or another, which was just really impressive. And it just meant that like whenever you were going from like site to site, or stage to stage, sorry, you were just like, you never quite knew what you were going to expect, which made it like, I'm pretty sure there's probably people that were there that like weren't looking at their timetables and were just kind of like going on a whim, and I'm sure they got like such an exciting time doing that. I think really the only complaint in this category that I could give to Primavera Sound was that getting to certain places was extremely difficult. Anyone that was there, if you were trying to get to Lotus or just like the general Primavera bits, you had to go over this bridge that genuinely felt like an apocalyptic movie. That just felt like at any point it was just gonna like blow up. It didn't feel like it was gonna blow up, but just like, it was one of those ones where like, you were just walking for pure ages. It looked like something out of the movies. It was nice and the scenery was cool and stuff, but yeah, it like, you would be walking over that for like 10-15 minutes, which like with how close these stage times were, those minutes and seconds are crucial. There is like a point during the day where everything feels quite slow and chill. You'll see like an act here or there. It'll get to about 7 o'clock, which is like 2 hours into the day, where it just, that's you like you're going from act to act to act to act. I hope you have great endurance, or a very like strong bladder, because you're gonna need it. Which made it exciting for me, and it was just a great time. It just felt so tight, compact, and fun. The lineup was amazing, diverse, something that I'd rarely ever seen. I've never witnessed before. Which is why I'm going to say this to all our festival sites, especially ones I've been to before. Get more women on your lineup. It's not difficult, and especially because they've always been making some of the most important music. But I think at this point you can't ignore it. There's so many publications that are pushing all these different acts that just need your attention. It just doesn't seem that difficult for me, like especially because a lot of these other lineups I've seen are just so uninspired, are just so safe. You could swap out somebody like DMA's Thunder Karma, who again are, I'm not gonna like try and say that you're a bad person for liking these acts. I'm just saying that they're always playing like Glasgow all the time. So just get somebody else. Get Little Sims on there. Little Sims would be so much more exciting and just generally better, at least for me anyway. I don't think it'd be very difficult to get something like that on board. Just do that, and just stop being so safe. Like, because when people look back on these lineups, like I know you are like predominantly looking at this as a business, because yes, you are trying to make money. But at the end of the day, like when I was looking at all these different lineups of like previous Primavera years, like it always felt important, and it always looked dead special. And there wasn't a single year that I looked at where I was thinking, I don't like the look of that. Which is, I think, what people are going to be looking at, like even just now when they're looking at Transmit last year, because they know that just like you're just not trying. So you guys can do better. Because I know you can do better. Because the first Transmit year, while again a sausage fest, had some great picks. So you guys definitely are capable of it. These guys definitely have the money for it. So just do it. Now we get to Act 2, which is Atmosphere. Which, at a festival, as an organiser, you can't really like dictate how people are going to act and what kind of attitudes they're going to predominantly have there. But there's definitely catalysts in like things you can put in place to kind of not so much enforce but encourage certain attitudes. And I think Primavera Sound did a really good job of that. There was just a very kind of like love is love feel to stuff. You constantly seeing the like on the screens saying like if you're in trouble, or if you've been like kind of like harassed or whatever, go to this place for help. Basically saying that there's no tolerance for people that are going to be homophobic, sexist, transphobic. I think that as a cis white guy, this wasn't really something that was like hugely going to impact me all that much. But even just, I felt really safe there, and I don't usually feel safe at festivals. I think that if you're a guy that's even the tiniest bit like effeminate or anything like that, you're just gonna like feel that a place like Tea in the Park is just like so riddled with like masculinity to like a toxic extent, that you're never gonna be able to have people like there were at Primavera Sound, where like there's people dressing up in drag that were wearing just like this like wearing these like outfits that were just so outlandish and impressive. You could just tell that people just felt like they were able to be themselves, and it was just so heartwarming, and just something that I wish I could see more of. And I definitely think that Primavera just kind of like encouraged that behaviour by being, we are going to be here for you, we've got all this stuff in place, we are not going to tolerate it. If you're found doing this, like you will be dealt with, which I think people need to do more of. You can't just be a centrist and be like, well, we can't tell people what to do. Yeah, you can't tell people what to do, but if they're going to do stuff that's going to put other people at risk and is going to like ruin their fun, then yeah, you can definitely put your foot down a little bit. When it comes to safety, folk always just think, oh, fire drills and exits and all that stuff. But no, I think festivals can do a better job of ensuring that people are comfortable as well as safe, because I've left more gigs due to my comfortability than my safety. And I think, and this just come from a cis white guy perspective, I'm sure that when it comes to women, when it comes to those that are gender fluid, trans, like it must be nightmarish at points. And I think from what I've heard from other people, who kind of fit that bill. They have said that they just felt a lot safer, that they could be themselves, which just made me really happy. And I do think that's kind of atmosphere that I would hope more places try and encourage, by the like parameters or whatever the word is you use, like the way. I hope it's something that they can encourage. Also with atmosphere, I think I would include kind of the stages as well, and I found it very kind of interesting how the stages at Primavera were working. There was a certain area with the Seat stage and the Pull and Bear stage that were like these big stages that were opposite side from each other, and that when one act finished, literally 5 minutes later another act would play, and it was back and forth like that. And again, it was like quite exciting. The Ray-Ban stage, the bass there, like especially like I was there for Danny Brown. Oh my god, like just ripped me a new one. It was impressive. The Lotus stage over by Primavera Bits was like on the beach. It didn't feel like a gimmick because it just felt like the music they were playing there definitely suited it. Like I was down by the beach, like grooving about while Lizzo was playing. It was something I'll never forget. The Primavera main stage was just sort of just like your traditional stage, but like there was a hill bit for folk to sit on, which I'm sure if it came to anyone that was needing, like if someone was like in a wheelchair, that like would have made it a bit easier for them to kind of like be able to see a lot better. Every stage just seemed to have its own like little kind of like quirk and charisma, which made it so that when you were going to a stage, that you were kind of like, oh, I know what to expect here. I know this stage isn't exactly like this one. I know the general kind of like vibe I'm gonna get from it, which is something that can't really be said about when I was at Transmit 2017, where just like it just felt kind of like you get your usual big stage and your sub stage, and then you get like some kind of genre stage, like I can't remember the name of it, but it was just like essentially like electro club music down there, which felt like a real downgrade from Tea in the Park when I went, because you had like the huge main Tea in the Park stage, you had the sub stage, I think it was the Radio 1 stage it was called, don't quote me on that though because my memory isn't the best, but then you had the other stages like the King Tut stage, which was like amazing, just had like such a nice vibe to it, even if I had like some horrible memories in there because of my own naivety. Yeah, the classic Slam tent, all of which had these like just, whether it be kind of like the environment they were in, because they had like tents and just had these general attitudes, I just think that are just, yeah, something that should be kind of like, you can definitely like encourage more by how you lay out things. And I do think that Primavera did a good job of it. And this is a case of me just like praising Tea in the Park, because as much as I think it does get kind of like praised because it's now dead a bit too much. I do think it had a lot of good stuff going for it. That I think Transmit should try and like carry on a bit more, because it definitely has the kind of utilities and whatnot to like make that kind of stuff work. And this final act of how you should do a festival and how you shouldn't do one is a bit kind of more broad and vague. I've just kind of titled it as environment, because I think because of how much mess that most festival sites make, there needs to be some sort of like level of just attitudes throughout the site that make you feel that you're not like adding to like a climate crisis. That being said, it's like 100 companies are responsible for like 70% of all like climate change, which is yeah, don't blame yourself too much, but there's definitely like small changes help out kind of thing, and we want to kind of like help out somewhat. And I think Primavera did a really good job when it came to it, with the kind of like usual cups that you get. Usually you get it and you bin it. At Primavera that wasn't the case. You would get a cup and it would have the lineup. A lot of them were Primavera Sound 2019 ones, but it stretched back to I want to say 2000 or 1999. I can't remember for sure. But I had all these different lineups on it. Folk were collecting them. Folk were like scrounging on the floor. Like if they saw one that they liked, they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get that one. That's nice." And I think that definitely kind of like gave folk an incentive, because they were collectibles. You could take them home, like wash them out. That shoe. You've got all these new cups that are like music lovers one. Like you're gonna put like your morning orange juice into it and go, "Oh my god, like Pixies played that year. That's pretty cool." There was also kind of like a case of where if you handed in 20 of them, I think it was, you would get a free ticket to the following year, which was pretty cool as well. which was difficult for anyone to do though, because one of the extra cups they were giving out was on the final day, only 150 variants of it, or 150 editions of it, which had pavement on it, which is quite cool. So I think that definitely gave folk kind of like incentive to like help clean up and just make sure that they weren't just like getting a cup thrown away. Though there was definitely some things that I think they could have improved on, both of which were brought up by my girlfriend Mary. One of which was that while the cups were a good idea, a lot of what was getting put into them were from like, it was essentially just like a tin getting like emptied out and that getting chucked away. Maybe it would have been a better idea to have most of that stuff kind of like on draft, like most places are, because it just makes more sense to do that. Because it seems a bit kind of pointless just to like, it'd be like getting like a can of Coke, just which what they were doing. They were getting cans of Coke, just putting them in. It's like, why not just have the kind of Coke on draft? Like some of the tents were doing that, but they weren't all doing that, which made it a bit kind of pointless. That's a little thing. Another thing that got brought up by Mary was that there was this festival in Glasgow, and I can't remember what year she told me it was, but essentially like people were like collecting up cups, hand them in, and they got like 10p back on them. Which obviously for some people, like, you could like go about collecting cups, helping people with the mess, making sure that like folk that were cleaning up afterwards didn't have nearly as much to do afterwards, and just getting yourself like your next pint, your next bit of food. Which I think for a lot of people, that if they weren't really like kind of seduced by the lineups and the cups, like I'm sure if they were able to just like hand them in, reuse them, like they could get washed, reused. Maybe they didn't want to kind of implement that because it would mean that like the collectability and rarity and all that would kind of like be kind of chucked out the window. But I think that would have been a good course of action. And also what I liked was that, which I couldn't really use, because I didn't know if it was water provided by a company or if it was the just kind of like the state water. Because you're not really meant to drink Spanish water if you're not from Spain. I don't know what there must be some sort of like reason for that, but it's not good for you if you're not used to it. But there was like these kind of like bits all over this festival site where you could fill up your water bottles, which is dead cool, because I'm sick of having to go places where it's like, oh, you want some water? Here it is for like £3. No, fuck that. And I think I can't really like, I'm not really going to use this as like a point to like criticise other festivals, because I do think this is something that now that we are in a crisis, we're going to see more of. But definitely more festival sites should like make it so that you get a plastic cup with the lineup on it, because that's going to help. I don't know what the math is going to be behind that, but I think that's going to help out a great deal. Because like fucking like look at like my pal Andy from the podcast. Like I think collectively he got like 55 cups. And he called himself the Cup Shagger, or he got that. Actually, no, he got branded with that. You know, wears that with pride. Take that as you will, but like, there's more than just one Andy that's collecting 55 cups, and I'm sure that there's plenty of other people that are going to be doing the same, and I think that's going to help a great deal. But I think that's it in terms of it. I think I have gave a sort of like, maybe not so much a blueprint, but kind of just like a wee sort of like tips and whatnot, that if you're doing a festival, just like help with your diversity, not even just in terms of genre and gender. Like those are the two that I think should just be sort of like commonplace at this point, should be the new normal, and I hope by 2022 that is like the standard. But you know, I'm going to still complain about it when I don't see it being enforced. I do know that there's different festivals that are genre exclusive, that are like metal festivals and whatnot, but we're not really talking about those ones. When it comes to your atmosphere, encourage these lovely environments that people feel safe and feel like they can be themselves, because at the end of the day, you're paying all this money to go out there. Like, you should be able to like go out and dress how you feel is comfortable, be able to like just reflect how you feel inside. Again, it was absolutely heartwarming. Like part of the cost, I feel, was covered by just how lovely and just almost the camaraderie that was there. Just it all felt like we're kind of like, even though there's people from all these different countries and all these different backgrounds, and hell, they might have just like really fucking hated that last Pusha T album, but it didn't really matter to you because you were all just sort of, when it came to what really mattered, these were all kind of like thumbs up. We're all here for each other. It's all good. I think that about does it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it offers some help. I hope it really sells the point that you should go to Primavera Sound when you can. I don't know if I'll be able to go next year, but if I get the opportunity to, I will absolutely be taking it on board. But yeah, expect more of the stuff that you love, and it'll get better. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure, I'm going to plug my playlist down the... I've not been plugging anything. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Spotify, where I have a playlist that I update on the regular with my new favourite songs of the year. Until then, guys, I'll catch you for whatever I happen to do next. Stay safe and stay hydrated.